Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to all my dear students. This is your lecture number 24 of week 8 from chapter Support and Locomotion. This topic will be followed from page number 59 to 61. The contents are review of previous lesson, objectives, muscles contraction, control of cross bridges, antagonistic arrangement of skeletal muscle, movement in knee joints, recap, and next topic. First of all, I will give you the review of the previous lesson, that is structure of skeletal muscles and ultrastructure of skeletal muscles. After completing this lesson, you will be able to explain the muscle contraction, define cross bridges, explain antagonistic arrangement of skeletal muscle, and describe the movement in knee joints. Mechanism of contraction of skeletal muscles. So students, as we know, when a muscles contract, it becomes shorter or thicker. The way the muscles become shorter during contraction has been investigated for many years and a number of explanation was offered. The most widely accepted theory has been proposed by Huxley and the theory called sliding filament theory of muscles contraction. So according to his explanation, the thin filament of the muscle fiber move together by sliding over thick filament. This is like sliding the fingers of your hand between the fingers of the other hand. The sliding over of the filaments is the reason that the muscles get shorter and thicker. So students, according to the sliding filament theory that explain the mechanism of muscles contraction, it basically consists of four main steps as you can see in the diagram. First, the myosin head split ATP and become reoriented and energized. As you can see in the second step, the myosin head binds to actin and forming a cross bridge. So what is cross bridges? Cross bridges basically formed and broken several times during the contraction of skeletal muscle. So students, in step number 2, the cross bridges are formed. In step number 3, as you can see in the diagram, the myosin head pull the attached actin filament toward M line, causing muscles fiber to contract. And as a result, the ATP is hydrolyzed to ADP and phosphate, and the cross bridges are again broke down in the next step. So in the fourth step, the myosin head bind ATP and the cross bridges detach from the actin filaments. So the formation and breakdown of cross bridges occur again and again during the sliding of the filament. Or students, this is just like pushing the cloth backward by the teeth of a swing machine. Let's conclude the sliding filament model. Huxley states that during contraction, the thin filaments slide over each other, so the actin and myosin filaments overlap to a greater degree. When a muscle's fiber is stimulated by a nervous system, the myosin head attach on to the myosin binding site and the sliding begin. So these links are called cross bridge, as we discussed in the previous slide, and the cross bridge forming and breakdown in us vary in a multiple or several time. As a result, the muscle cell shorten I band shorten and the distance between the two Z disc is reduced and zone, and this Z zone is disappear, and the wave of these small moves cause the thin filament to slide over the thick filament. Now students, let's talk about the control of muscles contraction. So students, remember one thing, the contraction of the muscles depend upon three factors. Number 1, nerve impulse. Number 2, energy in the form of ATP. And number 3, calcium ions. So first of all, the muscle contraction is initiated by nerve impulse at neuromuscular junction. So as a result, the nerve impulse open the calcium gates and releasing the calcium ions into cytosol. So as you can see in the diagram, these calcium ions bind to troponin molecules. Then the myosin head forms a cross bridge with actin filament. So in the step number 3, when the myosin head bends, the ADP and phosphate groups are released. And then a new molecule of ATP attached to the myosin head, causing the cross bridge to detach again. And then the ATP hydrolyzed to ADP and phosphate group, which return the myosin to its original position. So after contraction has occurred, the impulse stopped. So as a result, the free ions flow back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum again, and the cross bridges are broken and the nerve fibers relax again. Let's conclude the control of cross bridge as we had discussed in the previous slide. First of all, the muscle contraction is initiated by a nerve impulse at neuromuscular junction. Then it is carried through sarcolemma, then into the sarcoplasmic reticulum, where by the action of nerve impulse, the calcium gates open and releasing the calcium into cytosol. When muscles is at rest, tropomyosin is disposed, and when muscles is required to contract, the calcium bind with troponin. That's mean the tropomyosin expose the site. On the myosin head attached to actin filament, ATP hydrolyzed to ADP and phosphate group, and the cross bridges are breakdown. Antagonistic arrangement of skeletal muscles. So students, remember one thing, that skeletal muscles always work in pair, with one muscles working against the other. That's mean when one muscles of pair contract to bend a joint, as a result the other muscles of the pair contract to straighten the joint. Such set of muscles, or that type of set of muscles, is called antagonistic muscles. So students, as you can see in the diagram, the bicep and tricep is a pair of antagonistic skeletal muscles in our upper arm and are connected to the bones by our arm by our tendons. And as we discussed in the previous lectures, that tendons is basically the attachment of muscles to the bones. And as you can see in the diagram, the skeletal muscle attached to the bone at two or more places. If the place of a joint that remain immobile for any action, this attachment is called origin, and if the place is on bone that move during the action, this attachment is called insertion. And the muscles that bend the joint, that are called flexor, and when the muscles which open or straighten the joint, in that case it is called extensors. So when flexor contract, and the extensor relax and vice versa. Such type of arrangement of muscles is called antagonistic arrangement of skeletal muscles. Movement in knee joints. Basically, knee joints is a type of synovial joints that connect three bones together. The one femur, number two tibia, and number three patella. So, because of that three bone connect in that joint, that's why it is a complex type of hinge joint. That's mean they have two types of articulation. The one is tibiofemoral joint and the other one is patellofemoral joint. The tibiofemoral joint is an articulation between tibia and femur, as you can see in the diagram, while the patellofemoral joint is an articulation between patella and the femur. So basically, because of presence of two different type of articulation, they can permits limit the rolling and gliding movement. And as we all know that the knee joint is the largest and the most stressed joint in our body, so the arrangement of the bone in the joint provide a fulcrum that translate the action of flexor and extensor muscles of the knee. And the muscles that are responsible for the movement in knee joint are called hamstring muscles and quadricep muscles. First of all, what do you mean by hamstring muscles? Hamstring muscles is basically a group of three muscles that are found in the posterior region of the thigh and responsible for the flexing of the lower leg at the knee. And what do you mean by quadricep femoris? It is basically a group of four muscles that are found anterior region of the thigh and responsible for the extension of the lower leg at the knee. So that's mean the lower it will be flexor by hamstring muscles and extensor by quadricep muscles. Okay students, these are the hamstring muscles which are present at the back of the upper part of thigh. So the hamstring muscles are a group of muscles and their tendons at the rear of the upper leg. They include the bicep femoris, semitendinosus and semimembranosus. So the hamstring flex the knee joint and extend the thigh to back side of the body. So they are used in walking, running and many other physical activities. Today we have covered these topics: muscles contraction, control of cross bridges, antagonistic arrangement of skeletal muscles and movement in knee joints. In our next lecture, we will be doing nervous coordination and steps involved in nervous coordination. This is all for today. Thank you.